Hey guys, today in this video we're going to cover one simple thing, how I bought my first home at 20 years old. Now this is a topic that a lot of people like to talk about, is how to buy your first home, and they always ask me, Justin, how did you do it? You were self-employed, how did you go get that first home so fast, and what all entails in it? Because here's what really throws them off. When I tell them that I basically got it for free, that I didn't have to pay a mortgage payment, and now the equity in it in just 3 years is near $100,000. And I'm like, yeah, you can do it too. Hey guys, Justin here. We're going to talk about now how I bought that mysterious home at 20 years old. So to kind of go through my story, when I got into real estate at 19 years old, my goal was to buy a home, and I didn't really know what I wanted yet. I ended up building a home with a local builder, but I wanted to do it by the time or before I could legally own, or I could legally have a drink, because you know me, I never had any alcohol prior to 21 ever, because my mom watches this YouTube channel. So how did I get my first home by 20? And so to kind of walk you guys through it, a lot of people are like, wow, he just must have had like stacks of 30, 40, $50,000 stuck away. Here's the thing, guys. I was in the Colorado real estate market in a small town called Berthoud, Colorado. And the average price point at that time was about $400,000. And, growing up, I always thought, listening to Dave Ramsey, listening to some of these people, that I thought that I had to have 20% down. And so in my mind, I was always like, man, I have to have $80,000? Like, even if I made 120 in my first year in real estate and saved taxes, that means I'd have 80. And so am I supposed to live on zero? Like, look at me. I like to eat. I like to drink. I like to have fun. So how's I going to live on zero? But then one of my good lender friends came to me and said, Justin, do you realize that you could probably buy a house for $0 down? And I said, what? Tell me more. And so in most markets, and it's changing during COVID right now, so, depending on if you watch this video in 2025 or you watched it in 2018 or, you got Back to the Future type shit going on, it's going to depend on the market. But when I bought my first home, and the same thing you could have done 6 months ago, and I know it's going to come back in the future, I bought it for 3% down. And so the original home price was roughly $400,000 or so when I built the home. And so roughly I needed $12,000 down to purchase the home. And so another fun fact, I bought a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. So a lot of people would go, Justin, you're building a 2018 4-bed, 3-bath home, 2,600 square feet, massive home, and why? You're the most single guy that we know. And so what I ended up doing is when I said, okay, cool, I can buy it for $12,000 down, because you needed a 3% down payment. It was a conventional loan. It wasn't FHA, anything like that. It was a conventional 3% down loan. So I needed to come up with $12,000. So I was able to go and get the $12,000 from some of my real estate sales. I did like 2 transactions, saved all the money, and then I went and put it down as a down payment for that $12,000 home. Now you're like, Justin, well, I thought you said that you could get the home for 0 down. And here's the thing. Because I represented myself as my own agent on that $400,000 home, they gave me a 3% commission on that $400,000 home. Now, if you think about it, I took $12,000 to the closing table. I gave it to the closer, gave it to whoever takes the money, and then they cut me a check for my commission of $12,000. Now, I owed some taxes on that $12,000, so I might have owed like $1,000 or $2 in taxes after all was said and done. So really, I was out $1,000 or $2,000 to get that home. Absolutely insane. Now, some people would go, Justin, a $400,000 home? What was your mortgage payment on that? So my mortgage payment on it was roughly about $2,700, or wherever we put it on the screen. It was roughly $2,700 a month. But I wasn't all that dumb as a kid. The reason why I got a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home is because I was willing to live with roommates. All of my friends, when I was 20 years old, they were all living with roommates anyways. And so, and as a lonely single guy, I was like, well, that'd be cool to have some roommates. And so when I started to run the numbers in our local market, it was pretty average for someone to spend between $800 and $900 per room. And so I put an ad on Craigslist because I didn't have that many friends at the time, and I said, who wants to come stay here? I got really lucky, found an awesome guy by the name of Duncan. He came in, he was paying me $900 a month to have one bedroom. And so then later on, I had another roommate come along, and I put him in another bedroom for $900. So that was $1,800 that I was making off of having 2 bedrooms rented and me living there. And then I got really smart. I then filled the 3rd bedroom with someone else that was paying me $900. Now, 900 times 3 was about $2,700. So each and every month, I was getting my entire mortgage paid for. That's right. That entire $2,700 I was getting paid, and the balance went down to a big whopping 0. Now, I was a super nice guy. You know, I told my roommates, I said, hey guys, because you're so awesome, I'll pay all the utilities. So like a $70 electric bill, a $100 water bill, maybe, I think I even threw in some Netflix and some cable for them at like $20 a month. So for me to live in a 2018 brand new build property in a neighborhood that people would covet to be in, I was paying $190 a month. My mortgage principal, which started roughly near like $388, each month would go to $388, $387, $386, $385, $384, and now as my mortgage principal and balance went down, the value of the home went up. So that home that was worth about $380,000 to $400,000 is now worth roughly $460,000, and that mortgage balance that was $380,000, $390-ish, it's now like $350,000. So a $460,000 home value, I got a mortgage at $350,000. If I were to sell that today, I'd have about $100,000 in equity. And people are like, well, what if you sold it, Justin? Wouldn't you owe a real estate agent and things like that? That's me. I don't have to pay a real estate agent to sell my home because I am the real estate agent. And so now you guys can see how a $12,000 exchange of money for a 3% down loan, and then they immediately gave me a $12,000 check back to go put into my bank account. And then when I filled my house up with 3 roommates that were paying me $900 a month, it was insane. Now, a lot of you guys know my story. I ended up going on the road in 2019, and I taught in over 100 different locations, 35 different states. I was just all over the place. And so me being a money-hungry 20-year-old, I would do whatever it took to grow my net worth and to keep striving for a better future. I ended up renting out the 4th bedroom. You're like, what? Did you still live there? Absolutely. I was so crazy that what I did is I rented out the 4th bedroom for another $900. So I was making $3,600 per month on a $2,700 a month mortgage payment. I was still being nice and paying those utilities, but now I was netting near $500 to $600 each and every month. Talk about funding a retirement account, different things like that. And you're like, well, Justin, where did you sleep? Well, I was traveling the nation. So 300 plus days, I didn't need anywhere to sleep. When I did come back for those other 60 days in the year, sporadically throughout the year, I would just sleep on the couch. I had a really nice utility closet. It really did well with the ladies. I'd be like, hey, yes, I own this really nice brand new build house, and yet I sleep in the utility closet. Don't worry, not sure that's a carbon monoxide problem. Don't even ask about that. The water heater kicks on in the morning. Don't question it. Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of ladies come over and stay when I was sleeping in my utility closet a few nights a year. So beside the fact, that is how I ended up growing a property to equity at near $100,000. I'm only 23 years old as of the shooting of this video. I only bought that home 3 years ago. And now when you learn more about my investment strategy and what I do to buy homes, I think it was about a year and a half, 2 years into living there, I ended up moving to another property. One of my clients was selling their home and we were having trouble getting it sold. And I was just like, wow, this is a great 4-bed, 3-bath home. Wonder what I can do with this again. So I called up my lender and I said, hey, am I allowed to move right now? Like, can I move from this property and go buy the next property and live there as my primary residence? And he goes, absolutely. All is good. And I'm like, how much am I going to need for this property? And this one was a little bit cheaper. It was like a $330,000 property. And he said, $12,000. And I said, cool. I said, but because I'm the listing agent and my clients are willing to pay me 6%, you're saying I owe you $12,000. I owed him like $9,000 or $10,000 because it was a cheaper home. And I said, because my clients are willing to give me 6% of the $330,000 home, I'm now going to make $18,000 on the commission and I only owe you $10,000 to buy the home. And so now I got paid to buy the home. Now, some of you guys are going to go, well, there must not have been a lot of equity in that property. There was. It was already built in the market that we were in. So that property already has $60,000, $70,000 worth of equity for me in just the last year and a half or so. And now I obviously live in Tennessee. I currently rent where I live. I don't own out here yet. I couldn't buy another one right away. There's some, rules when it comes to mortgages. You can't just do that forever, and just keep jumping property to property like that. But you are allowed to do it when you move to a new primary residence. And so just wanted to share that with you guys today. Don't ever let I don't want to call it a limitation. Don't ever let someone else say that you can't do something. Because for the longest time, I was like, man, I can't buy a home. I can't buy a home. And then it was just random conversation one day. He's like, dude, why aren't you buying a home? And I was like, oh shit, you're right. I can buy a home. And so just want to bring you guys some motivation, no matter your age, no matter what you got going. Oh, wait, whoa. One last thing people told me. Justin, the $2,700 a month mortgage, the stupidest decision you will ever make. Some people pretty close told me that. But what they didn't realize was the mindset of the hustle, the mindset of a lot of you guys that are watching on here, especially the younger folks that are thinking about doing this. I was willing to live with 3 to 4 people to make that $2,700 a month mortgage payment. I not only blew their minds when I told them how I was not having to pay a mortgage, they were like, wow, I can't believe we held you back from even doing that. Because if I would have personally went and got a place that was going to be a $1,200 a month mortgage, and it might have been 1 or 2 bedroom, even if that one person would have paid me $700-800, I would have still had a bigger mortgage than I did when I have the big property. And the big property's got better equity gains. It was a better price point. It was a better area. It was a new build. Guys, I've spent less than probably what this wristband cost in fixes on that home. Because I had home warranties. I had the whole 9 yards and didn't have to worry about it. So, enough of my yabbing, guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, do all of the above. We're going to keep bringing you guys great content like this, and we will see you next time.